Welcome back, everybody. It's 2019. The year is coming to a close. Welcome back to D-Dub. Today we're looking at the full list for all the game awards for 2019, and the list is out, so we're going to go ahead and look through them right now, and we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the thumbs down button. I'm trying to get as many thumbs down as possible, seeing if it affects the channel or not. Or you could hit the thumbs up. I don't really care. Either way, let's just go ahead and do this thing. Game of the year right here. We got Control, Death Stranding, Super Smash Brothers did make it into the list. A lot of people didn't think that that was going to actually happen so late last year, but it did make the cutoff for it to be this year, and I'm just completely stoked that it wasn't forgotten about. Smash Brothers has kind of always been forgotten, and plenty of other games too that would deserve it, not just this year, but great games like this just kind of come out at the end of the year and then they just get overshadowed because something else good comes somewhere in the half of the following year and or at the end of the year. Surprisingly here, you know, Death Stranding, a lot of people thought that would be on for Game of the Year. I didn't play it. I don't have a PS4. Looked like a good game. Just because it's Kojima, though, doesn't mean that it's necessarily great, and I'm sure plenty of you guys have seen all the reviews on it. And so I'm not surprised to see it here. I'm more surprised to see Resident Evil 2, which a lot of people have problems with because the game is a remake and because of what kind of precedent that could set if it actually becomes Game of the Year, if it actually wins the award for Game of the Year, what it's going to do for other types of remakes. I didn't play Resident Evil 2. I did play the demo for it, and I could tell just from the gameplay and stuff that it's a great game. I don't know if it's necessarily going to win. I'm more surprised with Death Stranding just because of the fact that it just came out, and I guess every year they kind of always have a fresh game that's in recent memory, and you can see the rest of the list here. These are all games that, aside from Super Smash Bros., I mean, Control just came out a few months ago. Seemed like a good game, got pretty good reviews. I don't know if it's Game of the Year quality. I wouldn't have expected it to be on the list, but at least we got Super Smash Brothers, and I don't know, what do you guys think? Death Stranding? I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't win. I don't think it deserves to win, considering what it's up against. Sekiro, I didn't play that either. There's plenty of conversation around the difficulty in it and blah blah blah. People gave it some bad reviews that just weren't good at video games, and overall it seemed like a good game. Again, I don't know if it's quite Game of the Year quality in terms of the game, but it did get pretty good reviews. Most people actually loved the game, so I guess there's that. And then there's Outer Worlds, which just came out, so kind of a Fallout game. I'm not really a Fallout guy, but again, it did fill quite a void, and the game's only been out for 3 weeks, about a month now. I can't even tell with how many games come out and how quick time goes by. Best game direction: Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Outer Wilds. So kind of the same list here. I don't know exactly who I would pick for that. I mean, when it goes for game direction, sure, Resident Evil 2 is a remake, but the direction for the game, it's not really best art direction, it's best game direction. So does that come down to the story? Does that come down to the gameplay? I'm not exactly sure how they judge that, but Resident Evil 2, the story's already been written for it. I guess if it was me, I would say that it's probably going to go to Death Stranding. We got best narrative: A Plague Tale, Control, Death Stranding, Disco Elysium, Outer Worlds. As far as narrative, I'm going to say that Death Stranding is probably going to be the one to take that award. Best art direction: Death Stranding, Control, Gris, which means gray in Spanish. Everyone calls it Grease, but it's Gris. Sekiro, Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. Very nice to see for best art direction, having a Nintendo game. Very cool to see. I would probably pick Link's Awakening personally. Best score and music: Death Stranding. I haven't played it. I've watched some live streams, and just from the second to last, like, 7-minute trailer that we got, I gotta say the music in that was completely killer, so I think it could take it. Me personally, I would pick Cadence of Hyrule. over the rest of them because the music in that game was the whole basis for the mechanic and the reason that the game was made. And really, I would say that game was a 9 out of 10 in terms of like indie games, and to see a game of that caliber sitting this high along with the rest of these is very cool. I didn't play Devil May Cry. I don't know what the music's like. It's probably pretty good. Same for Kingdom Hearts, and same for Sayonara Wild Hearts. Best audio design: Call of Duty, Control, Death Stranding, Gears 5, Resident Evil 2. I'm not too much about audio design, so it could probably go to any of those, but we have best performance here. As you can see, Outer Worlds, Control, Gears 5, Death Stranding, Control, and again, Death Stranding. It's probably going to go to one of the two Death Stranding actress, Mads Mikkelsen. Might go to her, but probably Norman Reedus. Games for Impact. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by that, because you have Life is Strange 2. Again, you have Gree. You have Concrete Genie. I don't know if they just mean compelling storytelling, but Games for Impact, kind of a weird title, but I guess I get what they're going with. Best ongoing game, I don't know, Fortnite, Tom Clancy, Final Fantasy 14. It'd probably be between the top 3 here. Maybe not even Apex Legends. That's kind of a weird category, so I don't know about that. But we have Best Independent Game, Baba Is You, Katana Zero, and Untitled Goose Game. 3 great games that are all on the Switch. I didn't play Baba Is You. Probably isn't going to win because it's kind of a weird word puzzle thinking game. My guess would be that it's hands down, undoubtedly, going to Untitled Goose Game for sure, and if not that, Katana Zero. My personal pick would have to be Katana Zero. Best mobile game, yuck. Call of Duty Mobile, Grindstone, Sayonara, Wild Hearts, Sky, Children of Light, What the Golf? I'm not even sure what a couple of these are. Of course, Call of Duty, it's probably going to be the winner. Let's see, Best Community Support, Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite. Again, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Best Community Support, does that mean that people just kiss the game's ass and love it? Because if that's the case, Fortnite, maybe. Destiny 2, a lot of people loved that. Final Fantasy 14. Is it by best community support? What does support actually mean? Does that mean that there's the most players, there's the most positive feedback, or that there's the most money going into it? Because if that's the case, it's going to Fortnite, because that game is a billion-dollar game, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon. So we have best VR/AR. It's probably going to go to Beat Saber or Trover Saves the Universe, because those are both probably from this year. Those are probably the top 2. Well, aside from a couple other, they're in the top 5 most important, most loved, best rated, like system sellers when it comes to terms to VR, and there's not as many VR games as there are for console games. So best action game, Astral Chain. So again, for Nintendo, we have Gears 5. Gears 5 didn't get a nomination for Game of the Year, and I didn't think that it would. The game, sure, it had good stats and sales and stuff like that, but it was Xbox Game Pass, and I think that is kind of screwing over Microsoft for having a nomination. Not that it would actually win even if it were nominated, because it's up against some other heavy hitters, but I guess it is what it is. It's probably going to go to Call of Duty, even though Astral Chain was really good. Apex Legends, that was a game, as soon as it came out, people were all over it for like 2 weeks, and people were begging for it to come to Nintendo Switch. That didn't happen. People still talked about a port, hopefully, to get a port going to the Nintendo Switch. And again, that didn't happen, and here we are at the end of the year, and it still hasn't happened, but it doesn't seem like as many people played it. It's not as popular as it was when it first came out. So best action/adventure game, This one was, I guess, a little bit weird because Death Stranding isn't... It's a narrative adventure. It's a great cinematic art direction and all that kind of stuff. It has the most intrigue when it comes to just the style of storytelling, but it's not an action adventure game. Action does happen in it. I guess that's kind of just a weird one to actually be, you know, sitting in this category here. We have Link's Awakening remake. That's pretty cool. My guess would be that it'd probably go to Sekiro or Resident Evil 2. I mean, maybe even Control, because that seemed, well, Borderlands 3 too. I mean, that's, I probably couldn't even pick a winner out of these 6 that are in this category. Seems like that's one that'll really, they'll really be fighting for that award there. So, Best RPG, we don't have anything from Nintendo. And when I kind of thought about it, I'm not exactly sure what could have been in the category for Nintendo other than Dragon Quest XI-S. But the main problem I see with that game is that it just came out after the initial hype of it, and even though the game was built because of the Nintendo Switch, everything with all the interviews that came out saying that, you know, Nintendo basically were the ones to get that game made, and that it first was going to be coming to Nintendo Switch, and then it just took so long. So aside from that, I can't really think of any other Nintendo RPGs from this year that would have went in there other than strategy RPGs, but we'll get to that in a moment. So we have Best Fighting Game, which is going to go to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It would either be that or Samurai Showdown. There's no way that it could be Mortal Kombat 11, Jump Force, or Dead or Alive 6. Jump Force was hated by most. A lot of people played it for a minute. They said it was alright, but this isn't Game of the Year contenders when you have something like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Samurai Showdown, it sure seems like it was a great game, but it's just a few notches below Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, no matter how you look at it. Same for Mortal Kombat 11. Same for Mortal Kombat 11, no matter what way you slice it, no matter what way you dice it. There's just no way that that game is going to win. So then we have Best Family Game, which is kind of a cool category. We have Nintendo just ruling it here. Luigi's Mansion 3, Ring Fit Adventure, Super Mario Maker 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Yoshi's Crafted World. In terms of family game, I would probably say that it would probably have to go to Luigi or Mario, but then Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is great, but it's fighting, but it's not gory or anything that's, you know, not PG. But Yoshi was a great game too, so that would be a tough one for me to pick personally, and I'm not sure what the winner is going to be. So Best Strategy Game, we have Wargroove, Fire Emblem, Age of Wonders, Anno 1800. Best Strategy Game. Wargroove, I mean, I guess that counts as an indie game. So maybe at some point there could be a better category for Best Indie Game that would actually include something like Wargroove, because otherwise a game like that isn't going to be fitting into any other category other than like a Best Strategy Game. But my guess would be that it's going to go to Fire Emblem Three Houses. And then the next category we have is Best Sports and Racing Game. We have Crash Team Racing, Dirt 2.0, eFootball Pro Evolution Soccer 2020. So yeah, Best Sports / Racing Game. So when you have FIFA 20 versus F1 2019 versus eFootball Pro Evolution Soccer, and then Dirt Rally, and then Crash Team Racing, those are just complete ends of the spectrum. I'm not sure why that category exists like that, and why there isn't just Best Sports Game and then Best Racing Game. Beats the hell out of me. Who's going to win that one? I don't know. Best Multiplayer Game, I'm going to say it's probably going to go to Call of Duty, which I didn't play. Seems like a great game. Everybody really loved the single player, and they also said that the multiplayer was good. So I'm guessing that it's going to go to that, but for me personally, I would have to pick Tetris 99. Phenomenal game. Go download it if you have Nintendo Switch Online. Me, I'm a Tetris guy. Always loved Tetris. Been playing Tetris since the Game Boy, since I got the Game Boy in like 1988 or 89, right after it came out. And I was like 3 years old playing Tetris on the Game Boy. So Subway is bringing to us the fresh indie game. Yeah, that's so funny. Subway. The fresh indie game presented by Subway. Eat fresh. Subway. That's just such a funny category. I'm going to say that's going to go to Untitled Goose Game, even though we have My Friend Pedro, which seemed like it was more hyped before the game came out. After the game came out, it just seemed to nosedive. Some people loved it. Some people just said that it was an alright game with kind of stricken controls to where it kind of bogged down the game itself. So I guess we'll see about that. But best esports game: Counter-Strike, Dota, Fortnite, League of Legends, Overwatch. Hard call on that one. Probably going to go to Fortnite, League of Legends, or Overwatch, depending who votes, how it votes, and maybe what kind of money has been exchanged. Best esports player: I don't follow esports, so I have no clue on any of that. Same for best esports team, best esports event, best esports coach, best esports host. I'm not into the realm of esports, as I'm sure you could probably tell, and I'm sure many of you that would be watching this video also probably know. So that concludes the list for the 2019 Game Awards. We've looked through the full list. So who do you guys think is going to win for Game of the Year, Best RPG, Best Family Game? What games do you think, going throughout the topics, what other games do you think could have been in some of these lists that you didn't see? I'm going to do a little bit more digging, and I'll leave like a comment down below, and let's start a discussion about what other games didn't make the cut, why they didn't make the cut, and about esports, because I wish I could win a Game of the Year award for the best esports coach, because that's a thing. Alright guys, this is D-Dub, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs down, and catch me on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Alright, see you.